Please take your seats. Good morning, everyone, and good morning to Acha. So, hey, but anyhow, good morning to all those who would be seeing this class in recorded format. Anyhow, so friends, we will start geography from today. But you see, before I say anything substantial regarding this part of the GS, keep this in mind that this is one of the areas where most of the people they ensure that they are clearing the preliminary examination, because this is one section of the GS, though it comes under the conventional static area of general studies. Many people commit silly mistakes in geography. And geography section questions, if you see, they are of two types, generally speaking. First, they are conceptual in nature, and second, they are based on map marking. In the past recent years, if you see, you will see that the number of map marking based questions, their numbers are increasing in the question paper. But having said that, the conceptual questions, their numbers have not dwindled significantly. On an average, 12 to 15 questions every year purely from geography, you can expect that. And out of those 12 to 15 questions, nearly 50 to 60% would be purely concept based. But you know, the preliminary examination is now a battleground. So many soldiers are fighting for that coveted main seat. That's why even one question matters. So you should not think that I should get rid of the conceptual portions and I should focus more on the map marking section, because you never know. In the upcoming prelims, all the questions could be purely conceptual in nature. Well, uh, if you just comprehend the wisdom of those who are trying to make a paper through which recruitment has to be done for civil services, you will come to this conclusion that the paper cannot be biased. If the paper is biased, then the entire selection process would turn out to be biased, and it would give unfair advantage to certain people. Therefore, all the subjects, as I have maintained in my orientation class as well, all the subjects of the general studies are important. You cannot say no to any of them. Okay, so this is the general background and the general thing that we will have in our minds while we will be learning this section of general studies. Now, you see, in polity, say for example, there are some philosophical questions that are being asked now. And we cannot give a guarantee that such kind of questions cannot be asked in geography. So in this very first class of geography, where I'll be introducing the subject and doing the basics of the subject mostly, I will also talk about certain geographical philosophies. And these philosophies can be important, or it can help you in not only understanding the subject going forward, but there could be direct questions from these philosophies as well. Okay, so let's begin with the very word geography. The word geography has not been in existence forever. It was for the first time used by a Greek polymath, and his name was Eratosthenes. Eratosthenes was a polymath. Now, who are polymaths? Polymaths are those people who are master of different traits. Like, say, for example, all of you are aware about Leonardo da Vinci or Rabindranath Tagore. They had several skills. So, such people are known as polymaths. Polymaths are also generalists. Today, we live in the world where specialists dominate. But in the olden days, every person used to study everything. Like you people are studying all the subjects. Similarly, in olden days, all the scholars used to study everything. Like, say, for example, I hope all of you are aware about Immanuel Kant. Whatever optional subject you pick, you will see there is some kind of interjection by Immanuel Kant, because Kant was a philosopher. Similarly, Eratosthenes was also a polymath. And when I say polymath, what he actually knew? He was a geographer, an astronomer, a poet, a mathematician, and a music theorist. Music theorist means who writes theories about music or the science of music. So this man, Eratosthenes, who lived in the 3rd and 2nd century before the Common Era, or to be more precise, between 276 BC to 194 BC, was the first person to use the word geography. Before him, there is no recorded proof that anybody has used the word geography, though I'm not denying that nobody might have ever used the word geography. Eratosthenes lived in Cyrene, which is present in present-day Libya. Where is Libya, by the way? In north of Africa. Now, Cyrene was one of the 5 major old Greek cities or ancient Greek cities. He also served as the chief librarian in the great library at Alexandria. Like we have the great library of Nalanda or the great university of Nalanda. In the Western world, you can say the greatest library in the olden times was the Great Library of Alexandria. And he served as the chief librarian at the Great Library of Alexandria. This library was situated in Egypt. And where is Egypt located? North of Africa. So, in fact, Libya and Egypt are neighboring countries. Got it? So, I'm repeating one more time. Look here very carefully. The word geography was for the first time coined by a Greek polymath, a geographer, a mathematician, poet, astronomer, and music theorist called Eratosthenes, who lived between 276 BC to 194 BC in Cyrene, located in present-day Libya. He also served as the chief librarian at the Great Library, located at Alexandria in present-day Egypt. Okay. Now, what does this word actually means? What does geography means? Now, you can understand that Eratosthenes was a Greek polymath. It means he must be writing in Greek. So the word geography, therefore, logically thinking, must have been drawn from Greek language. In fact, the word geography is made out of 2 Greek words. One is geo and the second one is graphia. Sometimes it's also written as G and graphy. Now, the word geo means earth or earth-like, whatever you want to say. Whereas the word graphia means to describe or to write an account of. So look here. Just by breaking the word, we can define geography. Geography is the science of description of the earth or to write an account of the earth. That is geography. Geography is the science of description of the surface of the earth. Do you understand that? Now, if you look at the earth, you can describe earth in various ways. Like, so for example, I can say earth is a planet in the solar system. I can also say that earth is made out of different layers like the crust, mantle, and core. But these descriptions are not geographical description. When I describe earth as a component of the universe, I'm describing earth from the astronomical lens. Whereas when I describe earth in terms of its internal layered arrangement, that is geological description of the earth. Then what is geographical description? Geographical description is the description of the variable features which are present over the surface of the earth. Now, what is present over the surface of the earth? We can say natural features could be present over the surface of the earth, like mountains, rivers, plateaus, plains, forests. These are all natural features. It means created by nature, or there could be man-made features which are created by men, like say for example agricultural fields, industries, cities, townships, etc. Do you get that? Now you tell me one thing, does the natural conditions affect human decision making? Like if you have good alluvial soil, high temperature, and good rainfall in a particular region, is that region now suitable for growing rice or paddy? So natural conditions definitely have a bearing on human decision making. It means the evolution of human features over the surface of the earth is at times dependent on the natural conditions present over the surface in that region. Do you get that? Therefore, geography is often called as the science of environment and man, or it is also called as a science which tries to understand the relationship between man and his natural environment. Got it? When we are describing the physical features over the surface of the earth, we are in the realm of physical geography. Whereas when we are describing the man-made features, and man-made features are what kind of features? Either social features or economic features. Like say, for example, settlement, population, these would be social features, whereas agricultural fields, industries, trade and transport, these would be economic features. So when we are describing the socio-economic features over the surface of the earth, we are in the realm of economic geography or socio-economic geography, which is also known as human geography. Sometimes this is also known as social geography and economic geography. Got it? So what kind of description is geographical description? Geographical description is the description of the variable features present over the surface of the earth. Now, what are these features? They could be either natural features or they could be man-made features. And why am I using the adjective all the time, variable, before I am writing features? Because think of mountains, rivers, plateaus, plains, forest, their nature, their structure. Is that static or it changes and evolves over a period of time? It changes, right? It's dynamic all the time. That's why I'm calling it variable. What about cities? What about townships? What about agricultural fields? What about industrial patterns? Transport networks? Are they same all the time or they change over a period of time? They do change over a period of time. That's why I'm saying that geography is the description of the variable features, which could be natural or man-made, over the surface of the earth. Now you tell me one thing, like say for example, I'm trying to understand the life of a mountain over the surface of the earth. Now obviously there are several agents, geographical agents that keep on working over a mountain. Like say for example, rainfall. If rain falls over a mountain, with time you can understand that the running water will erode the mountain. Do you get it? And this rain comes from where? It comes from the clouds. How are clouds formed? When there is condensation. Why does condensation occurs? When there is evaporation. And why does evaporation takes place in the first place? Because there is solar heat. Do you understand that? So in order to understand the natural features present over the surface of the earth, I must have an understanding of the earth's atmosphere and how it interacts with the outer space, especially with respect to sun, because sun is the primary source of energy over earth. Do you get that? So my understanding of the earth's atmosphere and the outer space, especially the relationship between sun and atmosphere, plus my understanding of the internal structure of the earth. It means what is the density of the earth, what are the type of elements that are present inside the earth. It means a proper understanding of the internal structure of the earth, the behavior of the particles present within the earth. These two kinds of understanding will aid my understanding of the surface of the earth. Do you believe with that? Unless I understand what is inside the earth and how the earth's atmosphere behaves, how can I properly understand how the uh, variable features evolve over the surface of the earth over a period of time? Therefore, an understanding of Earth's atmosphere and Earth's interior aids in geographical understanding. And what is geographical understanding? That understanding by which I understand how the variable features have evolved over the surface of the Earth. Got it? So that is geography, technically speaking. Now, if you look here, every time I'm talking about description in geography, I'm talking about description in terms of space or how things are arranged over the surface of the earth. I'm not talking about description in terms of time. When I describe something in terms of space, it means if I make a spatial description of something, that is known as chorological description. Whereas when I describe something with respect to time, that is known as temporal description. And such description is known as chronological description. So keep this in mind that geographical description is chorological description because geography is a spatial science. It has to do more with how the things are arranged over the surface of the earth. It is not to do much with how the time behaved with respect to their arrangement, though time also plays a role in geography, you'll understand. But primarily, geographical description is spatial in nature, whereas historical description is always temporal in nature. That's why you have chronological arrangement of kings, say for example, within a particular empire. Got it? So keep this in mind that geography is a spatial science and its description is chorological in nature. Got it? Chorological description matlab kya hoga? Description in terms of space, whereas description in terms of time is chronological description. History is a chronological science. They both are sciences, right? Social sciences. So history is a chronological science, whereas geography is a chorological science. And what is geography? Geography is the description of the variable features present over the surface of the earth. Geography not only stops at mere description, but geography also tries to understand how these variable features came into existence and what will happen to them in future. Got it? So geography is also the analysis of the variable features present over the surface of the earth. यहाँ तक बात क्लियर हो गई एकदम? तो देखो अब तक हमने क्या समझा? हमने बस ये समझा है कि ज्योग्राफी है क्या? Geography is a spatial science and it has what kind of nature? A chorological nature. Got it? Now, if I try to understand geography as a discipline, I'll find that geography is a discipline of synthesis. Let's say, for example, if I am trying to explain how mountains are spread over the map of the world, do I need some understanding about rocks? And the study of rocks is actually geology. Do you understand that? So, in order to have a geographical description, I must have some understanding of geology. Similarly, like say for example, look at the Himalayas today. Were the Himalayas same forever like they are today? No, that is not the case. Will the Himalayas will be same forever the way they are today? So there is something called natural history, history of nature. Do you get that? So geography also derives some knowledge or some understanding from history. Similarly, think of this, that when you are trying to describe how population is spread over the map of the world or a part thereof, then you must have some knowledge of demography. When you're trying to describe how agricultural fields are present, then you must have some understanding of economics. Similarly, you must have understanding of other sciences as well, like meteorology, climatology, biology, like when you are describing the spread of flora and fauna over the surface of the earth. So geography is not a science which exists in isolation. Rather, geography is a science of synthesis. It draws heavily from all the other sciences. That's why sometimes geography is known as the mother of all sciences. Got it? Because कोई भी description आप करेंगे, finally it will take you to some kind of geographical description. This is also one of the major reasons why geography is also known as the evergreen optional. आप यूपीएससी के पूरे इतिहास में देख लो, पूरे हिस्ट्री में हर टाइम पे कोई ना कोई ऑप्शनल बहुत पॉपुलर रहा है, पर ज्योग्राफी एक ऐसा ऑप्शनल है जो हमेशा पॉपुलर रहा है, because it attracts everybody irrespective of your field of knowledge. Like when you are studying geographical thought, then you have to go into the world of philosophy. So geography attracts everyone. So technically speaking, geography is a science of synthesis. It is not a science which draws its subject matter from one particular discipline. Rather, it creates an interface between a number of disciplines. Some of the disciplines I have highlighted here, but there could be more disciplines like that. Got it? Now, what can be described over the surface of the earth? Like suppose I'm making a map of the world or map of India or a map of a particular state of India. Now, can I describe the mountains over that map? Can I do that? Okay, can I describe the plateau over that map? Can I describe the rivers? It means I can describe every natural feature that I can think of over the surface of the earth or the map of the world or a part thereof. Similarly, I can also describe any man-made feature over the map of the world or a part thereof. So what is the subject matter of geography? Everything that can be described over a map. I can also make a map of the civil services preliminary examination centers in India. इसका भी तो एक map बन सकता है ना? So what is the subject matter of geography? Subject matter of geography is everything that could be described over the map of the world or a part there. ठीक है? तो यहाँ तक तो बात एकदम clear हो गई हमारी कि geography is a science of synthesis. It is a science which provides interface with other sciences. It draws heavily from other sciences, and geography is a spatial science, and its nature is chorological. Its nature is not chronological. Got it? Now let's try to understand कि जब हम ज्योग्राफी पढ़ रहे हैं तो क्या अप्रोच होनी चाहिए हमारी ज्योग्राफी को पढ़ने के लिए. एक अप्रोच जो होती है मोस्टली, which is a popular approach, is to divide geography into systematic and regional geographies. Now, what is systematic geography and how is it different from regional geography? In systematic geography, I take one geographical element that could be a natural element or it could be a man-made element, and then I study that element over the entire map of the world. Got it? So that is systematic geography. Like say for example, I take one natural element, rainfall. Rainfall is a nature's element, so that's why I'm calling it a natural element. Or think of, say, for example, I am thinking of iron and steel industries. Iron and steel industries are created by nature or by men? By people, right? So that's a man-made element. Now, if I make a map of India or map of the world and show the rainfall patterns all across the regions, then I am in the realm of systematic geography. Do you understand that? Or I make an iron and steel map of the world or iron and steel map of India. I am in the realm of systematic geography. So what is systematic geography? In systematic geography, I take one geographical element and I study for all the regions. Correct? That is systematic geography. The father of systematic geography is Alexander von Humboldt, the famous German geographer. See, geography, when it was evolving as a modern science, the Germans contributed mostly to its development. And Alexander von Humboldt is a stalwart in geography. In fact, are you aware about the Peruvian current, which is the coldest of all cold current, is also known as Humboldt current, is named after this man. Do you get that? He is considered as the father of systematic geography. ये हो सकता है प्रिलिमिनरी एग्जामिनेशन में कभी ना पूछा जाए, बट क्या पता पूछ भी ले यूपीएससी को, आप कोई गारंटी तो दे नहीं सकते, बट इफ यू हैव दिस अंडरस्टैंडिंग इट हेल्प्स यू एज यू मूव फॉरवर्ड. नाउ व्हाट इज रीजनल ज्योग्राफी? एज द नेम इज सजेस्टिंग, इन रीजनल ज्योग्राफी वी टेक अ पर्टिकुलर रीजन and we try to describe all the geographical elements present in that region. It means all the natural elements N1, N2 up to Nn, and all the man-made elements from M1, M2 up to Mn. Do you understand that? So all the natural elements and all the man-made elements, if I describe it in one particular region, I am in the realm of regional geography. To give an example to you, let's suppose I take, say, the map of Maharashtra. And in the map of Maharashtra, I describe first the agriculture pattern in Maharashtra, industrial spread over Maharashtra, the landforms in Maharashtra, rivers in Maharashtra, lakes in Maharashtra, temperature distribution in Maharashtra, rainfall in Maharashtra, the kind of plateaus present in Maharashtra, the distribution of flora in Maharashtra, fauna in Maharashtra. Then I am in the realm of regional geography. Regional geography में क्या होता है? एक region लिया जाता है, उस पे सारे geographical elements को पढ़ा जाता है. और systematic geography में क्या होता है? एक element लिया जाता है और उसको सारे regions के लिए पढ़ा. Do you get that? In regional geography, the focus is on a particular region. In systematic geography, the focus is on the particular element. The father of regional geography is Karl Ritter. Again, a German geographer and one of the pillars of geography with Alexander von Humboldt. तो ये एक popular approach है जो follow होता है geography पढ़ने के लिए. Second popular approach is deterministic versus possibilistic. Now, in the deterministic approach, the geographers believe that nature is like our master and we are slaves, and all our decision making is dependent on the natural conditions in which we live. Like, say, for example, what kind of clothes you will wear, what kind of food you will eat, what kind of economic activity you will pursue. Like, say, for example, what kind of crops will you grow. Everything is dependent on the natural conditions of the environment in which you live. Do you get that? And if you try to tinkle with nature, then you have to be at the receiving end of nature's fury. और nature का गुस्सा आपको झेलना पड़ जाएगा. Do you understand that? It means nature determines our life. That's why it is known as the deterministic school in geography. Like, there is an American geographer called Ellen Churchill Semple. Now, Semple says, she says that man is the dust of earth. मतलब समझ में आ रहा है? वो ये बता रही है कि आपका जो वजूद है वो यही है, आप धूल की भी धूल हो नेचर के सामने. That is determinism. Do you understand that? But then a school in geography also evolved, which was a reaction to determinism, and that was possibilism. And the thought that evolved out of it was the possibilistic thought in geography. Possibilists argue that nature is not the master, rather nature is the advisor or friend. Nature creates opportunities or possibilities for man, and man must then encash those opportunities or possibilities and improve his living conditions. Like, so for example, nature gives you good temperature, good rainfall, fertile soil. Now, nature is giving you a kind of hint. Grow crops in this region. But suppose you fail to take that hint and you grow, like, a good crop to be grown here would be a tropical crop because these are tropical conditions. But you try to grow, suppose, a temperate crop. Suppose आपने wheat उगा दिया कहाँ पर? असम में, where the temperature is good, the rainfall is good, and the soil is fine alluvial soil, excellent for the growth of paddy. But आपने क्या लगा दिया वहाँ पे? Wheat. Then you are not taking the opportunity that nature is providing. So nature is like a friend. Nature is like an advisor. It tells you that what you should do. The French geographer Paul Vidal the Lablache is considered as the father of possibilism in geography. समझ में आया? तो दो स्कूल हो गए, एक तो डिटर्मिनिस्टिक और दूसरा पॉसिबिलिस्टिक. ये दूसरा अप्रोच हुआ ज्योग्राफी को समझने के लिए. The third approach is dividing it between quantitative versus behavioral. Now, these are known as revolutions in geography, the quantitative revolution and the behavioral revolution. When different disciplines were developing in the mid of the 20th century, I'm talking about 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s, this is the time period which is known as the golden period of knowledge because a lot of work was done with respect to natural sciences and social sciences. तो उस वक्त क्या हुआ कि natural sciences का बोलबाला होने लग गया पूरी दुनिया में because natural sciences they gave general laws and their laws were absolute in nature and they were applicable universally. Like, say, for example, mathematics, biology, or physics, these laws are universal laws and are applicable everywhere. And when they're applicable everywhere, you know something which will always work. You will rely more on that. Do you get that? Therefore, natural sciences, they gained a lot of momentum all across the world. Therefore, there was a kind of reaction within the social scientists to develop their discipline also like natural sciences. They also wanted to convert their discipline into law-making discipline or theory-giving discipline. They do not wanted to limit themselves to only blank hypothesis or social hypothesis. वो theory देना चाहते हैं, जैसे physics की theory होती है, उसको math से prove किया जा सकता है. तो वैसे ज्योग्राफी को भी बनाने की कोशिश की गई. Like, say, for example, look at the sex ratio or say literacy rate. You can express all of them with the help of equations. Do you understand that? Or say, for example, demographic transition, high birth, low birth, high death, low death. ऐसा पता है ना आपको, ये सारी चीजें आप mathematically इनको prove कर सकते हो. So, quantitative revolution was a revolution that occurred in the 1950s and 1960s in geography. It is known as a paradigm shift in geography. Paradigm shift मतलब सोचने का तरीका ही बदल गया एकदम geography को लेकर. ठीक है, जो basic understanding या basic vision था subject को लेकर वही change होने लग गया. According to the quantitative scholars, geography is like a discipline called physics or mathematics. In geography also, you can give general laws, and through those laws, you can understand geography. The aim was to change geography's nature from being an ideographic science to a nomothetic science. Now, ideographic science or nomothetic science, अगर आपको ये समझना है तो आपको Immanuel Kant को थोड़ा समझना. Kant says that knowledge can be divided into two branches, nomothetic and ideographic. Nomothetic means you generalize something. Like, say, for example, Newton's third law of motion. What does it say? For every action, there will be an equal and opposite reaction. Now, this is a general law. Law of motion is a general law. Do you understand that? So that is a nomothetic branch of knowledge where you generalize and you make laws. Whereas ideography focuses on specificity or it focuses on specific nature of a particular thing. Ideography is more about uniqueness, whereas nomothetic is more about generalizations. Do you understand that? Natural sciences are more closer to nomotheism, whereas social sciences are idiographic in nature. तो पहले ज्योग्राफी कैसा हुआ करता था? इडियोग्राफिक. स्पेशली आप समझ सकते हो जब रीजनल ज्योग्राफी की बात होगी तो हर रीजन यूनिक होता है अपने आप में. तो क्या बात हो रही थी? इडियोग्राफी के तरह ज्योग्राफी को पढ़ने की. लेकिन क्वांटिटेटिव रेवोल्यूशन को जो लोग सपोर्ट कर रहे थे वो चाहते थे कि ज्योग्राफी भी फिजिक्स की तरह पॉपुलर हो जाए और उसी तरीके से लॉ मेकिंग, थ्योरी मेकिंग ज्योग्राफी में भी आने लग जाए. इसलिए उन्होंने कोशिश की कि ज्योग्राफी को भी एक जनरल लॉ गिविंग साइंस बनाया जाए. एंड दे वांटेड टू चेंज द नेचर फ्रॉम इडियोग्राफी टू nomothetic. So you get that? But before I come to what happened next to it, let us revisit this deterministic school. Remember, deterministic school says that man is like a slave, whereas nature is the master. Possibilists say man and nature are friends. Nature provides opportunities and man must encash those opportunities, and man encashing those opportunities depends upon man's level of intellect, culture in which he lives, and the technology that he has at his disposal. All these things will determine कि वो नेचर को किस तरीके से यूज करेंगे या नेचर के रिसोर्सेस को किस तरीके से यूटिलाइजेशन में लाएंगे. There was also a philosopher, or rather a geographer, called Thomas Griffith Taylor. Now Taylor says what? Taylor says कि पॉसिबिलिटी तो है लेकिन पॉसिबिलिटी अनलिमिटेड नहीं है. जैसे अपॉर्चुनिटी तो है, आज आपके पास अपॉर्चुनिटी है पढ़ने की, लेकिन अनलिमिटेड अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं है. यू कैन नॉट से दैट यू कैन कीप ऑन रीडिंग थ्रू आउट योर लाइफ. मतलब यू कैन कीप ऑन लर्निंग थ्रू आउट योर लाइफ, लेकिन यू कैन नॉट कीप ऑन रीडिंग द सेम थिंग्स थ्रू आउट योर लाइफ. लाइक कैन यू सिट फॉर द सिविल सर्विसेज एग्जामिनेशन थ्रू आउट योर लाइफ? नॉट पॉसिबल. ठीक है, तो हर अपॉर्चुनिटी जो भी आपको मिलती है लाइफ में वो लिमिटेड होती है. यही कहते हैं ग्रिफिथ टेलर. और इसलिए आपको हमेशा अपनी अपॉर्चुनिटीज को अच्छे से यूटिलाइज करना चाहिए. और नेचर भी जब अपने अपॉर्चुनिटीज देती है तो उन अपॉर्चुनिटीज को आप ऐसे मत यूज करो कि आप नेचर को ही डिस्ट्रॉय करने लग जाओ. लाइक से फॉर एग्जांपल, नेचर गिव यू अ हिंट that if you dig the surface you will get some minerals. You can get those, like suppose you can get uranium and you can process the uranium and you can get energy, nuclear energy out of it. So this is the hint given by nature. अब आप यूरेनियम खोजने के लिए हर जगह आप माइनिंग करना शुरू कर दो, then obviously you will create a lot of pollution. You will also impact the earth's compactness, at least of the topmost surface, and that will be detrimental for the people in the long run. Like say for example, ये बताया nature ने that you can process cotton, grow cotton, process it, convert it into textile, and by that you can create an industry. But you know, textile industry is one of the largest consumer of water in India. So you will be consuming a lot of water, and if the industries start consuming a lot of water, where will be the water available for domestic consumption? So it would be chaos in the long run. So possibilists तो है, मतलब possibility है, लेकिन वो पॉसिबिलिटी अनलिमिटेड नहीं है, सेज ग्रिफिथ टेलर. सो हिज स्कूल इज नोन एज नियो डिटर्मिनिज्म, या कई बार इसको कहते हैं स्टॉप एंड गो डिटर्मिनिज्म. जैसे रेड लाइट होती है, आप अपनी गाड़ी लेकर गए, रेड लाइट पे आपको रुकना पड़ता है, आप रेड लाइट पे रुक नहीं रहे हो, चलते जा रहे हो, तो हो सकता है कई सारी रेड लाइट आप स्किप कर दो, आप बच जाओ, लेकिन किसी ना किसी रेड लाइट पे तो आपका एक्सीडेंट होगा. टू गेट दैट, सो दैट्स व्हाई नेचर गिव्स यू हिंट to utilize its resources, but you have to take those hints very carefully. You cannot misuse your opportunity that nature is providing. Well, coming back to this, quantitative revolution was a revolution which attempted to convert geography like a physical science. In its opposition came behavioral revolution, which started in the late 1960s and gained momentum in the 70s. Behavioralists, they argued that geography is not like a science called physics. ये इसकी तरह नहीं है, क्योंकि जैसे कि आप समझ लो, कहीं पे अच्छा टेम्परेचर है, अच्छा रेनफॉल है, अच्छा अलुवियल सॉइल है, तो पैड ही उगाना चाहिए, यही है ना. लेकिन क्या आप ये गारंटी दे सकते हो कि मैन वही करेगा? कैन यू गिव दिस गारंटी? नो. सपोज द गवर्नमेंट कम्स अप विद ग्रेट काइंड ऑफ सब्सिडी or great kind of MSP on wheat, then lot of the farmers would be inclined to grow wheat. Do you get that? If they can bring in technology and they can reduce the temperature of the region somewhere, they will be able to grow wheat in that way. Do you get that? जैसे कि आप देखोगे पंजाब में राइस उगाई जा रही है and the productivity is highest in Punjab as far as rice is concerned. I'm not talking about production. Productivity, it means yield per unit area, is highest in Punjab. Why? Because they have good irrigation facilities in that part, but that is also hurting the soil in Punjab. You know, the lot of salinization of the soil. But anyhow, that's the third approach in geography. The fourth and final approach in geography is the deductive versus inductive approach. देखो, in deductive approach, what happens is we start with a theory and we try to test that theory with time. Like, so for example, I learned somewhere in a physics book that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So I took a tennis ball and threw it on the ground, it came back into my hand. Took a football, did the same, got the same result. Took a cricket ball, got the same result, though the rebounding could differ based on a number of physical factors. Do you get that? But I am certain that to every action there is an equal and opposite reaction is a correct theory. Do you understand that? That is deductive approach, where I start with a theory and I test that theory, and if after experiments I find the theory holds good, I declare the theory to be true. ठीक है? Physical geography mostly इस थ्योरी को फॉलो करता है, मतलब इस अप्रोच को फॉलो करता है, डिडक्टिव अप्रोच को. इंडक्टिव अप्रोच क्या है? एज द नेम इज सजेस्टिंग, I hold a large number of experiments. I come blank. I do not come with a theory. I come with a large number of experiments. Like, so for example, I took a tennis ball, I threw it, it came back. Cricket ball, threw it, came back. Golf ball, threw it, came back. Basketball, volleyball, football, सभी वापस आ रहे हैं. ठीक है. तब मैंने समझा कि हाँ, कोई भी चीज फेंको तो वापस आती है. और after that, after the experiments I conducted, I came to a conclusion, and on the basis of that conclusion, I propounded the theory. So inductive approach is a theory giving approach, whereas deductive approach is a theory testing approach. समझ में? तो ये चार अप्रोचेस फॉलो होते हैं ज्योग्राफी में. क्या क्या फॉलो होते हैं अगर आप देखोगे? Systematic versus regional, deterministic versus possibilistic, quantitative versus behavioral, and deductive versus inductive. ठीक है, तो ये चीजें आपको ध्यान में होनी चाहिए, बिकॉज देयर कुड बी अ क्वेश्चन अराउंड दीज approaches also in the preliminary examination, because the nature of preliminary examination is changing with time. ठीक है, तो अब हम उस पे आ जाते हैं जिससे कि क्वेश्चंस आए हुए हैं मोस्टली, एंड विल स्टार्ट विथ फर्स्ट विथ द शेप एंड द साइज ऑफ अर्थ. Okay, let me ask you a few questions. You tell me the general questions. Is the Earth the largest planet in the solar system? Okay, is it the largest of all the terrestrial planets in the solar system? Is it the largest terrestrial planet in the solar system? Are you sure Mars is the largest? Earth is the largest of all the terrestrial planets. Keep this in mind. Do you get it? So, when we talk about the size of the Earth, we can talk about Earth size in relative terms. Like, say, for example, it's the largest, smallest, or something like that. We can also talk about the size of the term Earth in absolute terms. कि mass कितना है, volume कितना है, diameter कितना है, ये सारी चीजें. ठीक है. तो absolute numbers तो शायद ही आए आपके examination में. Relative statements जरूर आ सकते हैं. ठीक है. When we talk about the shape of the Earth, is the Earth a perfect sphere? Is the Earth a perfect sphere? No, it is not a perfect sphere. Rather, Earth has a slightly bulging equator and flattened poles. This shape, peculiar shape of the Earth, is known as a geoid. ठीक है, ये actually एक sphere का, true sphere का थोड़ा सा distortion. और ऐसा क्यों होता है? Because the Earth is spinning on its axis. Got it? And the Earth rotates from west to east. Never say that the Earth rotates from in a clockwise direction or anti-clockwise, but because that depends upon the perspective that you have. If you see it from the North Pole, then it is anti-clockwise, but from the South Pole, it is clockwise. Therefore, better statement is Earth rotates from west to east. Got it? And as the Earth rotates, you know, there are two forces that work upon any rotating body, And what are these two forces? Centripetal and centrifugal. Now centrifugal force attains more strength when the strength of rotation increases. और सिंपल वर्ड्स में आप मुझे ये बताओ कि अर्थ रोटेट्स फास्टर एट द पोल्स और फास्टर एट द इक्वेटर. चलो बताओ, फास्टर एट द पोल्स और फास्टर एट द इक्वेटर. हाँ, इक्वेटर और पोल्स, जल्दी बोलो. अर्थ रोटेट्स फास्टर एट द इक्वेटर और फास्टर एट द पोल्स. समझ लो, एक पॉइंट ले लेते हैं इक्वेटर पे, ठीक है. लेट्स कंसिडर दिस एज पॉइंट ए. अगर मुझे इस पॉइंट पे या इस लोकेशन पे वापस आना है, यहां से समझ लो कोई, जस्ट इमेजिन दैट अर्थ हैज नो डिफरेंसेस ओवर द सरफेस, की मतलब सभी सारा ही रोड है, समझ लो कोई रोड है ऐसे, ठीक है. इक्वेटर पे एक रोड बनी हुई. अब आपको एक गाड़ी लेकर जाना है और बिल्कुल चक्कर लगा के आना है यहां तक, ठीक है. और कितने देर में आना है आपको? 24 आवर्स में. यू गेट इट? इतने में आना है आपको, 24 आवर्स में पूरा चक्कर लगा के वापस आना है उस पॉइंट पे. तो आपकी गाड़ी की स्पीड क्या होगी, पहले आप ये ध्यान में रखिए. और आप यहाँ पर हैं, एक ही जगह पर, जहाँ पे आपको गाड़ी को बस टर्न करना है. कितनी देर में? 24 घंटे. Do you understand that? Like, so for example, if you are at the equator, you have to run very fast to come to that point in 24 hours. But if you are standing at the poles, तो समझ लो अगर मैं ऐसे खड़ा हूँ, 6 घंटे बाद में मैं ऐसे, समझ में आ रहा है? So the earth rotates faster at the equator rather than at the simple physics, है ना? कुछ भी नहीं है इसमें rockets है. And when it rotates faster at the equator, you can understand that the centrifugal force, which is the force acting outwards from the center, would be maximum at the equator. This gives Earth a bulging equator. Got it? And when something bulges, you know, by the law of conservation of mass, there would be some flattening on this side because the total mass has to remain constant. Do you get it? So the poles become slightly flattened and the equator turns slightly bulging. It means जो अर्थ का इक्वेटोरियल डायमीटर होगा, क्या आप बोल सकते हो वो पोलर डायमीटर से ज्यादा होगा या कम होगा? ज्यादा. So you get it? Therefore, the earth has a peculiar shape. Earth is uniquely earth-like, and that shape is known as geoid. Got it? Earth is not a true sphere, rather it's an oblate spheroid. और एक बात देखो, कोई भी प्लैनेट जो है वो स्फीयर क्यों होता है? स्फीयर ही क्यों होता है? कुछ और भी तो हो सकता है. स्फीयर क्यों होता है? चलो बताओ. व्हाई इट इज स्फीयर? एक वर्ड में बताओ मुझे, क्यों होता है वो स्फीयर? Due to gravity. Due to gravity. Gravity is like keep the things moving towards the center of gravity. And that's why it attains the shape of sphere. But because of rotation, it does not become a perfect sphere. Rather, it has a slightly bulging equator. All the rotating bodies must be like that, and the amount of bulging would be dependent upon the strength of rotation and the material out of which the sphere is made out of. ठीक है, ये बात क्लियर हो गई. अब चलो हम कुछ बेसिक्स में आपको वैसे दिखा देता हूँ कि जो ये प्योर फैक्ट है, तो बस इसको एक बार देखना है. Earth with an average distance of nearly 150 miles away from the 150 million kilometers away from the sun. It was formed around 4.5 to 4.6 billion years ago. And then Earth is the 5th largest planet in the entire solar system. Earth is the largest of all terrestrial planets. Earth has an estimated mass of 5.97219 into 10 to the power 24 kilograms. Its volume is largest of all the terrestrial planets. Volume is given in absolute term. Earth is the densest of all terrestrial planets as it is made up of a crust, mantle and core. और Earth का जो total volume है, उसका maximum portion क्या है? Mantle. ये भी ध्यान में रखना, ठीक है? एक बार आ भी चुका है ये एग्जामिनेशन में. हो सकता है ये लग रहा होगा कि ये तो बहुत ही प्लेन क्लियर फैक्ट्स हैं, बट इससे भी क्वेश्चंस आ चुके हैं. एंड अर्थ्स एवरेज डेंसिटी इज 5.51 ग्राम्स पर सेंटीमीटर क्यूब. अर्थ का सर्कमफ्रेंस अगर आप देखोगे वो भी लिखा हुआ है यहाँ पे. एंड Earth's equatorial diameter as well as its polar diameter. Equatorial diameter, if you see, is slightly more than the polar diameter. कुछ ही किलोमीटर ज्यादा कम है, ठीक है, तो बहुत ज्यादा बनेंगे. Terrestrial planets are all planets which have a rocky existence. It means Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars. बाकी planets gaseous हैं in nature. ठीक है. तो सबसे बड़ा planet वैसे कौन है? Jupiter. Anyhow. चलो. Earth is present in which galaxy? हाँ, ठीक है. Samsung galaxy तो नहीं समझते ना? चलो. देखो इधर. यही है जो पोलर सर्कमफ्रेंस दिया हुआ है, यहाँ पे इक्वेटोरियल सर्कमफ्रेंस दिया हुआ है. इक्वेटोरियल सर्कमफ्रेंस थोड़ा सा ज्यादा होगा पोलर सर्कमफ्रेंस से, वो आपको दिख रहा है यहाँ पर. और आप यहाँ पे भी देख लो, जो जियोलॉजिकल जियोइडल बल्ज है वो इक्वेटर पे बन रही है. ठीक है. नाउ व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द अर्थ, वी मस्ट आल्सो अंडरस्टैंड that if we want to highlight any one particular location over the surface of the earth, we do that with the help of imaginary lines. Now these lines are of two types: parallels of latitude and meridians of longitude. ठीक है. When I talk about the latitude, the 5 important latitudes are equator, the Tropic of Cancer, Capricorn, the Arctic Circle, the Antarctic Circle and the poles. Got it? अगर किसी लोकेशन पे मुझे उसका लैटिट्यूड जानना है तो मुझे बस इक्वेटर पता होना चाहिए. इक्वेटर इज 0 डिग्री लैटिट्यूड, तो समझ लो यहाँ पे इसका मुझे जानना है, ये इक्वेटर हो गया which is 0 डिग्री लैटिट्यूड. मुझे इस पोजीशन का जानना है, ये क्या होगा, तो आई विल ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड कि ये क्या एंगल बना रहा है इक्वेटर के साथ. अर्थ इज नॉट अ सर्कल, इट्स अ स्फीयर. तो आप समझ सकते हो, ऐसे अगर देखोगे ये इक्वेटर होगा तो वहां से मैं एक लाइन खींचूंगा टिल द सेंटर ऑफ द अर्थ, और जिस लोकेशन पे भी अर्थ के सरफेस का मुझे लैटिट्यूड जानना होगा वहां से एक लाइन खींचूंगा टिल द सेंटर ऑफ द अर्थ, और जो भी एंगल बनेगा दैट इज द लैटिट्यूड एंगल. Do you get that? Equator divides the earth into two hemispheres, the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. अच्छा, एक चीज और ध्यान में रखो, that of all the latitudes only equator is the great circle. A great circle is that circle which can be drawn over a sphere which divides the sphere into two hemispheres. Is the Tropic of Cancer dividing the earth into two equal halves? Only the equator does. That's why equator is a great circle. Of all the latitudes, only equator is a great circle. All the latitudes, they are parallel to each other. That's why they are known as parallels of latitude. आप चाहे इनको कितना भी ले जाओ, ये कभी भी एक दूसरे को टच नहीं करेंगे. But when we talk about the meridians of longitude, you would see that their distance increases as you approach the equator, either from the North Pole or from the South Pole. But their distance decreases as you reach the poles. So they are not parallel to each other. That's why we are calling them meridians of longitude. Now, we have the equator, which is the primary latitude, which is the primary longitude, prime meridian. Now, is the prime meridian a great circle? Is the prime meridian a great circle? No, the prime meridian is not a great circle. It is a semi-great circle. समझ में आ रहा है? Because उसके पीछे अगर आप ऐसे जाओगे तो you will get the 180 degree east and west meridian. All the meridians are semi-great circles. चाहे आप कोई भी meridian ले लो, they are all semi-great circles. Whereas all the parallels, out of all the parallels, there is only one parallel which is a great circle, which is equator. ठीक है? A great circle is one which divides the earth into two hemispheres. वैसे ही अगर आप देख लोगे, when the sun rays are incident over the surface of the earth, it divides the earth into two parts. One, the sunlit part, and the other, the dark part. This is the earth's axis of rotation. And you know, the earth's axis of rotation, is it perpendicular to the orbital plane? No, it is slightly inclined. And what is the inclination? 66 and half with respect to the orbital plane. Do you get it? or I can say 23.5 with respect to the normal drawn to the orbital plane. This Earth's tilt in axis is the primary reason for season. ठीक है, अगर ये tilt नहीं होता तो season भी नहीं होता हमारे. तो अगर आप ऐसे देखोगे, you will find that at any given point in time, Earth is a sphere and it is rotating from west to east. You'll see at any given time, half of the Earth is illuminated by sunlight, whereas the other half is dark. So there is a sunlit hemisphere and there is a dark hemisphere. और अगर मैं इस लाइन को जोड़ता जाऊं, ये स्फीयर है, इट मींस इट इज आउट ऑफ द बोर्ड एंड इनसाइड द बोर्ड एज वेल. तो आप ऐसे सोच सकते हो कि इट आल्सो वुड बिकम अ सर्कल, and this circle is known as the circle of illumination. Now you tell me, is the circle of illumination a great circle? Yes, it is a great circle because it is dividing the Earth into two hemispheres, the sunlit hemisphere and the dark hemisphere. ठीक है, अब देखो एक चीज और. When we talk about the sun rays incident over the surface of the Earth, this is the Earth, this is equator, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, Arctic Circle, Antarctic, North Pole, South Pole. Now, sun is huge with respect to the Earth. So, the sun rays are always at any given point in time are parallel rays with respect to Earth because the sun is huge. Like say, for example, just imagine this. There is a body like this and there is a small sphere like this in front of it. So at any given point in time, जो भी sun rays आप इसके context में imagine करोगे वो parallel rays ही होंगे because of the size difference. Got it? So look here, as I am towards, let's stay close to this to make more sense. Parallel rays of the sun, if you see that as I move more towards the poles, the sun rays become more and more oblique, whereas as I move more towards the equator, the sun rays become more and more direct. Now, how do you understand the difference between direct and oblique? Earth को ऐसे समझ लो आप, and suppose there are parallel sun rays. So this is at the equator, suppose. This is as I move to a North Pole and South Pole. How would I measure the angle between the incident sun ray and the Earth? I'll draw a tangent to the surface of the Earth because Earth is a sphere. अब यहाँ पर जो angle बन रहा है वो क्या बन रहा है? 90 degree almost. But as I go here, the tangent would be like this. And if I take it further, the angle is obviously less than 90. If I go here, again, the tangent would be like this. And here also the angle would be less than 90. So as I move towards the poles, the sun rays become more and more oblique. But as I come close to the equator, the sun rays become more and more direct. एक बात आप ध्यान रखना, the sun rays are never direct beyond the tropics. It means they are never direct beyond 23.5 degree north and south latitude. Beyond that, sun rays are always oblique, and the slanting of the rays increases with increase in latitude. In fact, जब नून होता है इक्वेटर पे तो सन यहाँ पर होता है, आपके ओवरहेड सन होता है, ठीक है. लेकिन अगर आप पोल्स पे खड़े हो, नॉर्थ पोल पे खड़े हो, तो जब 12 बजेगा आपकी घड़ी में, तो सन वुड बी देयर below your knees. Do you understand that? Here at the equator or within the tropics, you see sunrise, noon, sunset. At 45 degree, it would be like this: sunrise, noon, sunset. Go to 60 degree, it would be sunrise, noon, sunset. And at the poles, it will be sunrise, noon, sunset. It means the sun would never leave the horizon at the poles. इसलिए even after 6 months of daylight at the poles, you don't see ablation of the ice there. मतलब बर्फ नहीं पिघलती वहां पे क्योंकि उतनी हीट ही नहीं होती. Because when the sun rays are direct, you see that all the energy is concentrated at one point. Therefore, per unit area, energy received is more. But when the sun rays are oblique, then the same energy is spread over a larger area. आप जैसे टॉर्च को ऐसे पकड़ो या ऐसे पकड़ो, the light is spread over a larger area. So per unit area, light received would be less. So that's why as you increase the latitudes, the temperature, generally the temperature false. There could be some notable exception due to some local conditions, जैसे कोई volcano हो गया, कुछ हो गया, that might increase the temperature. But as you come closer to the tropics, there is an increase in temperature. That also you have to keep in mind. देखो कुछ चीजें आप देख लो यहाँ पे लैटिट्यूड और लॉन्गिट्यूड से रिलेटेड are known as parallels, run in east-west direction, measure distance north or south of equator, are parallel to one another and never meet, cross the prime meridian at right angles, lie in planes that cross the equator at right angles. आप कोई भी देख लो, जैसे जो भी लैटिट्यूड देख लो आप, वो लैटिट्यूड वो सारे जितने भी हैं वो पैरेलल हैं एक दूसरे से, कोई भी एक दूसरे को कहीं पे भी जाके टच नहीं कर रहा है. Get shorter towards the poles with only the equator the longest, a great circle. ठीक है. When we talk about longitudes, are known as meridians, run in north-south direction, measure distance east or west of the prime meridian, are farthest apart at the equator and meet at the poles, cross the equator at right angles, lie in planes that pass through the Earth's axis, are equal in length. All the longitudes are of equal length, but all the latitudes, they are not of equal length, are halves of great circles or semi-great circle. ठीक है. Then, if I talk about prime meridian passes through how many countries? Do you have any idea? How many countries the prime meridian passes? Okay, does the prime meridian passes through any land in southern hemisphere? Suppose there is a statement like that. The prime meridian does not pass over any land area in the southern hemisphere. Is it true? Is it true? तो आप सोच कर देखना ऐसे, क्योंकि ऐसे सिंपल स्टेटमेंट्स भी कई बार कंफ्यूजन क्रिएट कर देते हैं. तो देखो प्राइम मेरिडियन जो है वो इतनी कंट्रीज के ऊपर से जाता है: यूके, फ्रांस, स्पेन इन यूरोप, अल्जीरिया, माली, बुर्किना फासो, टोगो एंड घाना इन अफ्रीका. ठीक है. इन द सदर्न हेमिस्फीयर इट टचेस, इट क्रिस क्रॉसेस अक्रॉस अंटार्कटिक. ठीक है. तो ये आप ध्यान में रखो. मेरिडियन है ना, वो तो जाएगा पोल्स में टच होगा ही, तो अंटार्कटिका तो हो ही गया. ऐसे लॉजिक लगा लो ना. तो समझ में आ रहा है. तो कई बार लोग इसके न्यूमोनिक्स भी बना लेते हैं और उसके थ्रू इसको याद रखते हैं. तो यू कैन मेक एनी न्यूमोनिक्स एंड थ्रू दैट यू कैन आल्सो रिमेंबर दिस. जैसे कि आप ऐसे कुछ बना सकते हो, जैसे कि ऐसे कर लो, तुम सब फ्रांस गए. ऐसे कर लो, टोगो, यूके, माली, स्पेन, अल्जीरिया, बुर्किना फासो, फ्रांस गए से घाना. तो ऐसे कुछ करके आप इनको याद रख सकते हो. यू कैन मेक सच न्यूमोनिक्स जब आप ये देखते हो कि कौन से लैटिट्यूड कितने से जा रहे हैं, लॉन्गिट्यूड कितने से जा रहे हैं कंट्रीज से, रिवर कितने कंट्रीज को क्रॉस कर रहा है. बट आई वुड नॉट एनकरेज दिस मेकिंग न्यूमोनिक्स. आपने कुछ न्यूमोनिक्स बनाया, याद ही नहीं आया वहां पर, तुम सब जर्मनी गए, याद आ गया तो आपने कुछ और ही कर दिया. बट अगर बहुत मुश्किल हो रही है तो आप ये कर सकते हो. ठीक है. Now there is something called local time and standard time. You know, local time is the time that is with respect to the meridian that passes through the region. जैसे कि समझ लो, we are standing here in Delhi. तो दिल्ली के ऊपर से कोई एक मेरिडियन तो जा रहा होगा, लॉन्गिट्यूड तो जा रहा होगा कोई ना कोई. ठीक है. जब उस लॉन्गिट्यूड के हिसाब से the sun would be at the highest point in the sky. Remember, the sun is not always overhead. सीजन टू सीजन सन की हाइट चेंज होती है, बट दिन भर में सन जब अपने सबसे ज्यादा हाइट में होगा, दैट वुड बी कंसिडर्ड एज नून. एंड आई विल सेट माय क्लॉक टू एट 12 नून. डू यू गेट दैट? और उसके बेसिस पे जो टाइम आएगा दिन भर, दैट इज नोन एज लोकल टाइम. बट स्टैंडर्ड टाइम इज ऑलवेज टाइम अहेड और बिहाइंड द ग्रीनविच मीन टाइम. Greenwich Mean Time is based on the prime meridian, and it is on the basis of the Greenwich Royal Observatory, ठीक है, which is located in London. Got it? तो उसके बेसिस पे ये स्टैंडर्ड टाइम होता है. अगर आप इंडिया के केस में देखोगे तो इंडिया का जो स्टैंडर्ड मेरिडियन है वो कौन सा है? 82 डिग्री 30 मिनट्स ईस्ट. ठीक है. Because the earth rotates 360 degrees in 24 hours, so it rotates 15 degrees in 1 hour, and that's how we can divide the earth into 24 time zones. And time हमेशा standard time का general understanding ये है that it has to be into the multiples of 7 degree 30 minutes. ठीक है, and 7 degree 30 minutes, 7 degree 30 minutes is 15 degrees, which is 1 hour. It means earth takes 1 hour to cover a longitudinal distance of 15 degrees. Got it? ये समझ में आ गया आपको? तो अर्थ जो इंडिया का स्टैंडर्ड मेरिडियन है, which is the IST, is based on that meridian, is 82 degree 30 minutes east. It passes through how many states? Okay, does it pass through Telangana, Jharkhand, Bihar, UP, MP, Andhra, Odisha? फाइव स्टेट्स याद रखना, उत्तर प्रदेश, मध्य प्रदेश, छत्तीसगढ़, उड़ीसा, आंध्र प्रदेश। तेलंगाना इधर है, ठीक है, आंध्र प्रदेश। न्यूमोनिक्स बना सकते हो, मैं हर सारे मैं नहीं देने वाला। चलो, let's now try to understand what is international date line. International date line, established in 1884, passes through the mid-Pacific Ocean and roughly follows a 180 degree longitude north-south line on the earth. Okay. It is located halfway around the world from the prime meridian, the 0 degree longitude established in Greenwich, England in 1852. The date line runs from North Pole to South Pole and marks the divide between Western and Eastern hemisphere. The ideal is not a straight line. ये ध्यान रखना. It's a zigzag line. Why it has been put as a zigzag line? To avoid confusion. ठीक है, क्योंकि it was cutting through some of the countries. That's why the ideal is a zigzag line. The ideal line is not similar to longitude. ध्यान रखना, ठीक है. Now, the point here I'm raising is that what happens if you cross the ideal or the international date line from east to west and from west to east? What happens? ऐसे मान के देख लो अभी के लिए, ठीक है, जस्ट फॉर द सेक ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग आप ऐसे सोच कर देख लो. ये आपको जो दिख रहा है स्टील का, इसको मान लो आईडीएल, बट कीप दिस इन माइंड, दिस इज मोर और लेस अ स्ट्रेट काइंड ऑफ थिंग, राइट, और कर्वेचर, बट इट इज अ जिगजैग थिंग. आइडियल जिगजैग होता है, ठीक है. और इसी के ऑपोजिट समझ लो आप क्या है, प्राइम मेरिडियन, बट इट इज ऑलमोस्ट हाफ वे अवे फ्रॉम प्राइम मेरिडियन. Now the earth rotates from west to east. It means the sun rises first in the east and then it rises in the west. Well, actually the sun never rises. It's earth's relative positions. Do you understand that? So you see first daylight in the east, like Japan sees sunrise first, then USA. Do you get it? So आप ऐसे सोच कर देखो that when it would be 6 a.m. somewhere in the east, almost diametrically opposite to it, it would be 6 p.m. in the evening. But the calendars are different. Like if it is 10th of January, this will be 9th of January. क्योंकि यहाँ पे sunrise हो चुका है, इधर नहीं हुआ है. तो वैसे ही अगर मैं करूँ, if this is say 6 से थोड़ा और पीछे जाऊँ, 5, वैसे 5 होगा, 3 होगा, 2 होगा. समझ में आ रहा है ना? तो if I go to 12 midnight, then here I will reach here, just 12 midnight, and this would also be 12 midnight. इस तरफ थोड़ा सा आ जाओगे थोड़ा ना दिन हो जाएगा. That is also midnight. Do you get that? But what is different? The calendar is different. Do you get that? 12 midnight, time तो same है. Calendar is different. If this is 10th of January, this is 9th of January. If this is 11th of January, this is 10th of January. समझ में आ रहा है? अब बताओ, if I cross from, आपके पर्सपेक्टिव से अगर मैं देखूं, तो this is west for you, this is east for you. If I cross from west to east, I am going from 11 to 10. Do you understand that? It means मैं तो 10 जी चुका हूं ना फिर से, मतलब दोबारा मुझे मिल रहा है मौका 10. मतलब ये समझ लो जैसे 12th एक बार और देने का मौका मिल रहा है, फेल होने की वजह से नहीं, मतलब ऐसे ही मौका मिल जाए समझ, ठीक है, या 2 बार इंटरव्यू देने का मौका मिल रहा है. किसी कौन नहीं लेना चाहेगा उसको, ठीक है, जब पहला वाला खराब हो तो. लुक हियर, that when you cross it from west to east, you relive the day. That's why you're saying you are gaining a day. बट यहाँ पर कौन सा डेट है अभी 10th, और इधर कौन सा है 11th. 10th तो आपका शुरू भी नहीं हुआ अभी, 12 मिडनाइट है ना 10th का. जैसे आप इधर जाओगे तो क्या हो जाएगा 12 मिडनाइट 11th का, तो कहाँ गया 10th. You lose a day. You get that? So as you crossing the international date line from east to west, you are losing. When you are crossing it from west to east, you are gaining. As simple as that. Okay? So that is what you must understand here, shown through a map. As you cross it from west to east, gains a day. East to west loses a day. गुड क्वेश्चन. देखो प्राइम मेरिडियन तो कुछ भी हो सकता था. जैसे जो मेरिडियन इंडिया के ऊपर से जा रहा है हम उसी को प्राइम मेरिडियन कर लेते हैं. पर व्हाट इज द ईयर 1852. 1852 में हु इज रूलिंग द वर्ल्ड? ब्रिटिश. तो उन्होंने बोला जो लंदन से जाएगा वही होगा सेंटर ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. ठीक है, एज सिंपल एज दैट. आइडियल को भी इसीलिए लिया गया बिकॉज इट इज मोस्टली पासिंग ओवर वाटर. Only somewhere it is crisscrossing across land. But the Britishers decided it. As simple as that. ठीक है. हो सकता है in future, suppose 200 years from now, if India becomes the superpower of the world, then which is passing over Uttar Pradesh, that would become the prime meridian all across the world. But that is just on a lighter note. अच्छा ये बताओ, dawn, dusk और twilight, ये सुना है? क्या होता है इसका मतलब? What is dawn? Time before the sunrise. Okay. What is dusk? Just before or after the sunset? Then what is twilight? Just twilight. I'm making some statements. Twilight is observed only during the morning. Twilight is stronger during summers. Twilight is stronger during summers. Acha, the length of the day is greater in summers or winters? Length of the day is greater in summer or? ठीक है, चलो I'll leave it to you to think over this. But देखो क्या होता है. Twilight is the time period between dawn and sunrise or dusk and sunset. That is twilight. इसको एक डायग्राम से समझ लेते हैं तो और अच्छा होगा समझने के लिए आपको. This is daylight. ये dawn हुआ. Then you have morning twilight, the entire daylight, sunset, evening twilight, and then dusk. Do you get that? Twilight is the time period between dawn and sunrise, and sunset and dusk can be seen in the morning and evening. तो क्या होता है कि अगर आप देखोगे कि ट्वाइलाइट जो है वो ज्यादा देर के लिए लोअर लैटिट्यूड्स पे होगा या हायर लैटिट्यूड्स? ज्यादा देर के लिए ट्वाइलाइट. ध्यान से सुनो. ट्वाइलाइट ज्यादा देर के लिए लोअर लैटिट्यूड्स पे होगा या हायर लैटिट्यूड्स पे? अगर आप इक्वेटर पे हो एंड द मंथ ऑफ मे, सुबह 6 बजे थोड़ी सी रोशनी हुई, 6:30 तक अच्छा सनराइज हो गया, 7 तक इतनी गर्मी, 8 तक आप निकल नहीं सकते. यही होगा ना. बट अगर आप पोल्स पे हो तो 12 बजे भी निकल सकते हो. Do you get that? Because the sun has not risen properly. Do you get it? So the length of the twilight increases with the increase in latitude. इस बात को ध्यान में रखना. हमारे यहाँ समर सीजन में सनसेट कब होता है? What is the time period on sunset? 7:30. In London, it sets around 8:35, sometimes 9:30. If you go further, नॉर्वे और वे चले जाओगे तो it sets around 10. सोच के देखो. मतलब थोड़ी थोड़ी रोशनी बनी रहती कि आप देख सकते हो, पूरे तरीके से अंधेरा नहीं हुआ है. तो एक प्रैक्टिस होता है, स्पेशली इन यूएसए इन कनाडा. वो क्या करते हैं, वो अपने घड़ियों को 1 घंटा आगे कर लेते हैं ड्यूरिंग द स्प्रिंग सीजन, बिकॉज द समर्स आर अप्रोचिंग, एंड दे रिवर्ट बैक टू द ओरिजिनल टाइम ड्यूरिंग द ऑटम सीजन. दिस इज नोन एज स्प्रिंग फॉरवर्ड एंड ऑटम fall back. And this entire phenomena is known as daylight saving time. Daylight saving time makes sense in higher latitudes और temperate world. Polar पे तो ज्यादा population है नहीं, temperate world पे. Tropical लोग नहीं करते, हम नहीं करते अपनी घड़ियों को आगे पीछे. पहले हमें भी करना पड़ता था, आपको पता? When the Britishers used to rule, we also used to get our clocks forward. But that makes no sense for us क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ twilight उतना लंबा होता नहीं है. But वहां पे होता है. इसकी वजह से आप देखोगे कि वो 1 घंटे घड़ियों को आगे करते हैं, which is known as spring forward. और जो ऑटम होता है उस पे वो 1 घंटा पीछे करके उसको बराबर कर लेते हैं. ठीक है, जो पहले था अरेंजमेंट, दैट इज नोन एज फॉल बैक. Autumn is also known as the season of fall because that is the season when the trees shed their leaves in temperate lands because the harsh winter is approaching. So spring, season of spring, and season of fall. Fall is also the season of admission in universities in United States of America. तो आप देखोगे कई लोग बोलते हैं कि हमने अपने फॉल के फॉर्म्स भर दिए सारे. लोग ऐसे बोलते हैं जो बाहर पढ़ने जा रहे हैं वो ऐसी बातें करते हैं. Anyhow, look here. Daylight saving जो मैंने आपको बताया कुछ ऐसा होता है, घड़ियों को आगे कर देना स्प्रिंग में और ऑटम में उनको पीछे कर देना. मतलब समर्स में जो डे होगा वो 25 घंटे का हो जाएगा और विंटर्स में जो होगा वो 23 घंटे का हो जाएगा. एक तरीके से एवरेज करोगे तो 24 घंटे हो जाएंगे. You understand the time zones? How many time zones India has? One. Which country has the largest number of time zones? Russia or France? Russia has how many? What about France? What about France? अच्छा, फ्रांस देखो, उसका स्प्रेड देखो आप, लैटिट्यूडनल, और रशिया का स्प्रेड देखो लैटिट्यूडनल. लॉजिकली क्या लगता है रशिया का होगा, लेकिन आंसर क्या है? फ्रांस. क्यों? Yes, it also includes the French territories elsewhere in the world. ठीक है, सबसे ज्यादा टाइम जोन्स फ्रांस के, याद रखना. Motions of the earth. First is the rotation of earth and second is the revolution of earth. Rotation of earth, you know that the earth rotates on its axis. The axis is slightly tilted 66.5 with respect to the orbital plane, and this axis remains with the same inclination throughout the year. It means as the earth rotates on its orbit, ऐसा होता है क्या कि axis axial inclination जो 66.5 था जनवरी में, वो मार्च आते आते तक 90 हो जाता है. ऐसा नहीं होता ना, उसमें भी वही रहता है. It means you take the axis of the earth at any month and you compare all those axes, they all will be parallel to each other. This phenomena is known as axial parallelism. समझ में आया? If there is no axial parallelism, life will not be possible on earth. We will all the time will feel dizzy. Do you get that? कि अर्थ अगर अपने आप को ऐसे 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 करते रहे, मतलब आप समझ लो, if the earth is a driver and we are all passengers, और समझ लो पायलट है अर्थ और हम सब एयरक्राफ्ट में बैठे हुए हैं, so it's a very smooth ride. Turbulence नहीं है कहीं पे भी. Do you get it? That's why we're feeling so good about our presence over the surface of the earth. So motions of the earth, generally speaking, rotation and revolution. Rotation of the earth is the reason for day and night, whereas the revolution around the earth and earth's tilted axis is the reason for seasons. Do you get it? Now, look here. Look here, very carefully. When it is 21st of June, the sun rays fall directly over the Tropic of Cancer. Now look here very carefully. When it is 21st of June, the sun rays fall directly over the Tropic of Cancer. And this is the circle of illumination. And the circle of illumination is a great circle. So this becomes what? This becomes the sunlit hemisphere, whereas this one becomes what? This one becomes the dark hemisphere. Now, if this is the equator, अब आप यहाँ से देखते चलो, जितने भी latitude होंगे इस side, do you get it? If you see that all these latitudes, way to form diagram, I think. Let me redraw this. I have taken it actually on the other side. होना चाहिए इस side. Now it will make sense. This is the equator, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, the Arctic Circle, and the Antarctic Circle. Something like this. Sun rays on this side. Now, look here. The sun rays are directly incident over the Tropic of Cancer on 21st of June. And therefore, this is the circle of illumination. अब आप जितने भी latitudes हैं north of equator देखते जाओ, they have their greater portions in the sunlit hemisphere. Do you get that? Whereas all the latitudes south of equator, they have their greater portions in the dark hemisphere. Do you get it? Therefore, can I say that from 21 June onwards or at 21 June, ऐसे देख लो आप, that the length of the day would be more in the northern hemisphere, whereas the length of the night would be more in the southern hemisphere. And when the days are longer, obviously more insolation and more heat. Therefore, we have the summer season where in the northern hemisphere, whereas what season is this in the southern hemisphere? It is the winter season. This is known as the summer solstice. If I just go to the winter season, the earth was here, it has revolved around the sun, has now come there on that sun. You get that? So sun rays would go like this. Before the sun rays were coming like this. So look at this. Now, when it is 22nd of December, if you see this, then the sun rays are directly incident over the Tropic of Capricorn. And therefore, all the latitudes south of the equator, you see they have greater portions in the sunlit hemisphere and less portions in the dark hemisphere. So the days are longer in the southern hemisphere, whereas the nights are longer in the northern hemisphere. And this is the season of winter for the northerners. And that's why this is known as winter solstice. This is actually summer for the southern hemisphere, and it is winter only for the northern hemisphere. Because 90% of the world's population lives in the northern hemisphere, that's why we are seeing these things from the northerners' perspective. Got it? So, but we can tolerate this till such time that Australia and New Zealand does not protest primarily. Okay? But look here. In fact, Christmas, say for example, or New Year is celebrated during summers in Australia. इसलिए ऑस्ट्रेलिया में आपको नहीं दिखेगा कि बहुत लोग एक्साइटेड है सांता क्लॉज को लेकर, वो पहन ही नहीं सकते वो सब कुछ, उस समय बहुत गर्मी चल रही है वहां. ठीक. Now, the time that is spent between the winter and the summer solstice is approximately 6 months, if not exactly 6 months. So look here. If this is sun, and here the earth was on 21st of June, and here it is on 22nd of December, and somewhere here it should be in the month of September, and here it should be in the month of March, because the earth is revolving around the sun in an elliptical orbit. Okay? And this plane is known as the orbital plane, and earth's axis is making an angle with respect to this orbital plane, not the equatorial plane. समझ में आ रहा है? तो देखो, अब ध्यान से देखो इसको कि at this point, this is earth's inclination. Just imagine for some time that I am the sun. So this is the June 21st thing. Got it? And this is the December 22nd thing. So here is where it is in September. And this would be the circle of illumination in that case. And if this is the circle of illumination, it is again dividing the earth into a sunlit part. This part is the sunlit part. The part which you people are seeing is the dark part. And this would happen in the month of March. Here is the sun. So this would be the sunlit part, and part which is hidden from us is the dark part. Do you get that? When you are at these positions, whether in the month of September or in the month of March, to be more precise, if I have to write the dates as well. So you can say that 21st of March and 23rd of September. September is the month of autumn, whereas March is the month of spring. Got it? You see that the circle of illumination cuts through all the latitudes equally. It means it divides all the latitudes into two equal halves. Agar it is dividing the latitude into equal half, it means for 12 hours the latitude is in the sunlit part and 12 hours the latitude is in the dark part. जैसे अगर आप 22nd of December को देखोगे और इसको देख लो, जैसे कि फॉर एग्जांपल ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैप्रिकॉर्न को देख लो आप, तो इसका ग्रेटर पार्ट ऑफ द लैटिट्यूड इज वेयर इन द सनलिट पार्ट. सो there would be a longer day and a shorter night. Do you get it? But look at the equator, say for example, it is dividing the equator into two equal halves. Therefore, at the equator, it will be 12-hour day, 12-hour night. As you go north of the equator, the length of the night keeps on increasing, so much so that the sun never rises at the Arctic Circle on 22nd of December. Similarly, the sun never sets at the Antarctic Circle on 22nd of December. और वैसे अगर हम पीछे इसका देख लें, you will see that the sun never sets at the Arctic Circle on 21st of June and never rises at the Antarctic Circle on 21st of June. अब यहाँ पे भी देखो, जैसे जो आपका ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैंसर है उसका ज्यादा हिस्सा किधर है? सनलिट हेमिस्फीयर. सो इट विल बी अ लॉन्गर डे एंड शॉर्टर नाइट. गॉट इट? अब ध्यान से देखो एक चीज, यहाँ पे इक्वेटर को कैसे डिवाइड कर रहा है ये? इनटू टू इक्वल पार्ट्स. और इधर कैसे इक्वेटर को डिवाइड कर रहा है ये? इनटू टू इक्वल पार्ट्स. और मैं क्या कह रहा हूँ कि इक्विनॉक्सेस की जब बात हो रही है, या जब हम 23rd सितंबर या 21st मार्च की बात कर रहे हैं, when the circle of illumination is dividing all the latitudes into two equal parts, it means at every latitude the length of the day and the length of the night is same. It means 12 hours day and 12 hours night. And that situation is known as equinox. Equinox means equal day and equal night. So equinox में सारे latitudes को equally divide कर रहा है circle of illumination. अगर आप summer solstice पे आ जाओगे तो वेरिएबली डिवाइड कर रहा है, और विंटर सोल्स्टिस पे भी वैसा ही है. लेकिन अगर आप इक्वेटर को देखोगे तो साल भर वो इक्वली डिवाइड हो रहा है, चाहे इक्विनॉक्स पोजीशंस हो या चाहे सोल्स्टिस पोजीशन हो. और अगर जैसे हम बोल रहे हैं अभी हम सर्दियों के मौसम में, द नाइट्स आर लॉन्गर एंड द डेज आर शॉर्टर, वेरी शॉर्ट. ठीक है, पर जैसे ही समझ लो द मंथ ऑफ मई जून ऐसा आने लगेगा, द डेज वुड बिकम लॉन्गर एंड द नाइट्स विल टर्न शॉर्टर. Do you get it? But at the equator, any month of the year, the nights are 12 hours and the days are 12 hours. Means every day is like any other day. Our day here now today, will it be same like how the day would be in the month of June? No. But at equator, today is similar to the month of day in June. So in equator, or at the equator to be more precise, there is no season. Season is a meaningless term at the equator. Why? Because the equator is equally divided by the circle of illumination throughout the year. That's the technical answer to it. Do you get it? That's why season is a meaningless term at the equator, or at the equator, no seasons. ठीक. Now let's see some final things as we wind up this class. ये मैंने आपको जो बताया कि डायरेक्ट रे और टेंजेंशियल रे, और जैसे रे ऑब्लिक होते जा रहे हैं, look at this. This is the June 21-22 situation. This is the December 21-22 situation. And this is the equinox situation, March 21-22, September 22-23rd situation. This is known as the spring equinox, and this is known as the autumn equinox or the vernal equinox. And this is how it is actually. This is the situation. आप tilt देख लो, जैसे भी ले लो आप tilt. तो उसके हिसाब से आप देखोगे that in June the northern hemisphere has more light, whereas in December the southern hemisphere has greater light during the daytime, and in equinox situations it is equal days. So equal days and equal night. This was our first class of geography. Very simple, very basics, but इससे क्वेश्चन आए हैं. अब देख लो, चलो करो ये क्वेश्चन सॉल्व, देखते हैं कितना कर पाते हो. ये नहीं हो पाया तो फिर मुश्किल है. देखो 2022 का क्वेश्चन. इन द नॉर्दर्न हेमिस्फीयर द लॉन्गेस्ट डे ऑफ द ईयर नॉर्मली अकर्स इन, बोलो क्या होगा. द एग्जैक्ट डेट अगर मैं पूछूं तो, हाँ चलो, on 21st of June. So the right answer for this is second half of the month of June. Second question, on 21st of June the sun does not set below the horizon at Arctic Circle, does not set below the horizon at Antarctic Circle, shines vertically overhead at noon on the equator, shines vertically overhead at the Tropic of Capricorn. 21st of June, the sun does not set below the horizon at the Arctic Circle. The sun never sets at the Arctic Circle, or throughout it is sunlight. Third question, 2018, among the following cities, which one lies on a longitude closest to that of Delhi? Which of them? Sure. Yes, Bengaluru. Fourth, variations in the length of the day, time, and night time from season to season are due to the Earth's rotation on its axis, the Earth's revolution around the sun in an elliptical manner, latitudinal position of the place, revolution of the Earth on a tilted axis. Revolution of the Earth on a tilted axis. अगर Earth का axis ऐसा ही रहता, so at every month of the year, the circle of illumination would have divided all the latitudes equally, like the equator. So at the equator, season is meaningless. At all the latitudes, the season would have become meaningless. So Earth's axial parallelism and Earth's revolution around the sun is the reason for season. Every day is hot and humid. Same conditions throughout the year. That's why these equatorial lands are sparsely populated areas. Can you name any country across which the equator passes? Okay. Congo. In Asia, does it passes anywhere from Asia? Malaysia, है ना? So this was the class for the day. मैं आपको वो दिखा देता हूँ कि आपके नोट्स ये कैसे होंगे. So here you have almost everything that you want to learn about geography. Highlighted everything that I have discussed here. By the way, geodesy is a science by which we understand the geometric shape of Earth, Earth's position in the space, orientation in the space, gravitational field of Earth, and the changes in these qualities of Earth over a period. That is geodesy. Size and shape, ये आप एक बार देखते रहना, because many times questions can be asked from these simple topics also. Everything that we have discussed, nothing is left in this. Then you have got your PYQs with your answers and then your MCQs. ठीक है? चलो एक एमसीक्यू कोई भी उठाते हैं और एक सॉल्व करके देखते हैं, उससे पता लग जाएगा कि आप कर पाओगे या नहीं। चलो दूसरा वाला लेते हैं। स्टेटमेंट 1, अर्थ्स इक्वेटोरियल डायमीटर इज स्लाइटली मोर देन इट्स पोलर डायमीटर, centrifugal force is greatest at the equator. Both are true. Is the second explanation for the first? हो गया सॉल्व, ठीक है। चलो तो सॉल्व कर लेना, और remember that routine is the answer as far as geography is concerned. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next class.